Okay, so here comes a discussion on a very interesting topic. I say that's hyperbole. It's really not that interesting, except that pedals are one of the more critical items on the bicycle. And certainly I've seen in some readings on the website that some folks have some problems with them, and I think we need to just discuss them. Also, I think my next videos are gonna be outside, a little more practical in purpose of actual riding. But let me go into pedals a little bit. They are the thing that attaches to the bicycle that allows you to put the force and power of your body into propelling the bike. And the most basic pedal is just simply a platform pedal. It's a flat thing that you can put your foot on and push to get around. Now these come on all bicycles, and there are many other types, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a history so that you can understand where we are, and then hopefully get you so that you don't have some problems getting in and out. And I've even heard some people having little bruises from not using them correctly. So this is a basic pedal. This is a clip. Someone learned a long time ago, I think in the pre-Neolithic days, that if you put a clip like this on the pedal, you could get more force going around because you could get some of the muscle pulling up on part of the circle of the pedal action and get more force going into the pedal. Then some brilliant guy named, I think, Lapis, figured out that if he put a strap then on the clip, that you could really get your foot in there, and so that you could get almost 360 degrees of power going around onto the pedal. So now let's talk about what you can do. If you are really uncomfortable with quotes being clipped in, you can just ride with the flat pedal. That's okay. It's acceptable. There's nobody going to shame you and say, oh, you don't have clips or anything like that. But if you want to improve your ride, the first step could be you take the platform pedal and you put only the clip on it. Believe it or not, you could cut the clip here and even make little short clips for that. Your foot won't slip going forward. You get some of the pull-up action as you go. Years ago then, this is what the pedals look like with the strap and the clip, and you put your foot in and you snapped into here and then you pulled like that, and you were pretty secure in the pedal. These were pretty hard to get out of sometimes, especially if you set them up like these. This is my track setup, so that I came around the back and really gripped into my foot, around behind the ball of the foot, so that I was firmly attached to the pedal. And you pull down hard on these, your foot isn't going to come out. You can't. It's hard to yank your foot out. So they were used for track, almost for like a permanent thing to have your foot into there. There was a pedal, then the first clipless pedals came out in the 70s. Cinelli had one with no clip, of course, and it had a pin that came up from the bottom of the pedal, and you pulled a lever out and this pin went up into the bottom of your shoe. You used to have good shoes in those days, because if the uppers didn't stay on the soles, you could go flying. Then Brilliance came along and they started making clipless pedals. They just found that the clipless thing without the clips, they were a little quicker and could be more efficient. And I believe I'd give some of the credit to the Look company, which was already making ski bindings of that nature. And this is a similar. This was made by Mavic, but it's a Look type pedal. Historically speaking, before I get into the practicality, I have here the very first pair of clipless pedals ever used in the United States in a professional road racing event. These were used in 1985 by Rene Valkenburg, who was a world champion. He lived at my house for about 3 or 4 weeks, and these were the actual pedals. And they were in 1985. If you ever look at any historical videos of the Core States Championship in Philadelphia, you'll see there's only one rider on clipless pedals, and it was Renier Valkenburg, and here are the pedals. He gave them to me for, that's what I got for him living here for a month. So now let's get to today. Today, the big disclaimer is I'm not going to tell you really how to do anything with your pedals, because there are so many pedal manufacturers I can't even keep track of them. But they all work in generally the same way. They're clipless pedals. There's an attachment cleat on the bottom of your shoe that goes into the pedal and snaps in place, and that's where your foot goes. There's a thing called float. Your foot can move so much in the pedal when you're pedaling. You can go back and forth. That's called float. I like pedals with maximum float. These are the ones I use. I'm not going to tell you the name because I'm not advertising for anybody, but these have the maximum float of all pedals. So with my knees the way they are, I can move around as much as I want. A sprinter doesn't like to have much movement. A sprinter wants to have it really, really tight. I don't do that anymore. So that's one of the things about a pedal. So now you snap in, and then when you want to get out, you twist. They all work about the same way. You twist one way or the other, and the pedal, it's hard to do, and the pedal and the shoe are released. That's when you seem to have the biggest problem. Sometimes you have to think about releasing your foot maybe a little bit early. You can always release your foot and then continue to pedal a little bit, but just by keeping some pressure on it without snapping back in. Here's what I recommend that you do. Get out, get your bike, and stand over it. Stand maybe up against the wall. Put your foot in the pedal, snap out. Put your foot in the pedal, snap out. Not riding yet, okay? Just put your foot in, snap out, foot in, snap out. Do both sides. Now, if you really want to take baby steps in getting the function as part of your normal practice, put a platform pedal on one side and put a clip-in pedal on the other side. You have the safety of being able to get your foot right off. You have the platform pedal on one side while you're learning how to work the other side. It happens to anybody, anytime. It doesn't. If it doesn't release just right, you gotta have a plan B. I had a ride last year. I'm glad my friend Brian Ignatin was with me. We got to a stop, and for some reason it wouldn't release, or I couldn't go this way or something. All I can remember is being able to grab onto his shoulder and prevent myself from falling, and then release my foot. So you have to practice it, and you can practice it on a stationary basis. Do it 10, 20, 30 times until you are absolutely certain that you can get out when you want to. And it's a twisting action. Make sure you learn. That should become like a secondary thing, the twisting action of getting out. If you do really want to know what kind of pedals these are called Speed Play. The X2 version has the most float, and that means that the foot can move around of any pedal that I know of in manufacture today. And by the way, the leverage of getting them in and out while just using your arms is a whole lot different than have your body thing. But see how much that can flex and move, and then when you want it to go out, you go like that, and off it goes. So practice and get accustomed to getting in and out of your pedals so that you don't have some issues when you're riding. And I think my next video is going to be, we're going to talk about how to attack hills. Big deal. You all worry about hills, but we don't have many of them. So have fun and see ya.